You stole this car! I saw you take it!
I didn't steal anything. This is my car.
Imagine being accused of stealing your own car just because you refused to hand your keys to a spoiled teenager who thought the world revolved around him. It's early morning in Maple Ridge Estates, the kind of suburban neighborhood where the grass is fake, the smiles are faker, and the gossip runs faster than Wi-Fi. Elijah Grant, tall, calm, and finally at peace after years on the job, is sipping his coffee when a thunderous pounding hits his garage door. Outside stands Vivian Hartman, queen of the HOA, waving her phone like a weapon. Behind her, her teenage son Logan smirks with the confidence only privilege could buy. He's still bitter because Elijah wouldn't let him test drive the one thing money can't buy: respect. Or his 1969 Ford Mustang Boss 429, the grabber blue masterpiece Elijah rebuilt with his late father bolt by bolt. That car wasn't just chrome and horsepower. It was memory. Legacy. He had only driven the car 3 times since his dad died. What Vivian doesn't know is that Elijah isn't some pushover neighbor she can bully. He's the chief of police. But right now, he's just a man trying to enjoy his morning coffee. 3 weeks earlier, he'd moved into Maple Ridge after finally buying his first home. Nothing extravagant, just a clean 3-bedroom house with a 2-car garage and peace he'd earned. Vivian didn't like that. From the first day, she'd strutted up in crisp white pants and a navy blazer pinned with the HOA emblem like it was the Secret Service badge. "We run a tight ship here," she'd said, chin high. "I trust you'll be a compliant addition to our community." Elijah smiled, took the binder she handed him, HOA guidelines and expectations, and said nothing. He liked to keep work separate from home. Big mistake. A week later, Logan sauntered into his garage, eyes glued to the Mustang. "Sweet ride," he said, running a hand along the fender. "V8 429 Cobra Jet," Elijah replied, calmly moving his hand away. Logan grinned. "You should let me take it for a spin. Got my license last month." Elijah nearly laughed. A 17-year-old with 1 month of driving experience in a 400 horsepower muscle car? Not happening. Logan's grin vanished. "My dad pays a lot in HOA fees," he said smugly. "That means we own part of this street. Technically, that makes me part owner of everything on it." Elijah blinked. "That's not how property works." Logan stormed off, muttering, "We'll see about that." 20 minutes later, the HOA queen herself showed up. "My son tells me you were rude to him," Vivian said, heels snapping like gunfire. "I told him he couldn't drive my car," Elijah answered. "Logan is a very responsible young man," she snapped. "When he shows interest, it's only neighborly to accommodate him." Have you ever had someone try to guilt you into giving up something that's yours? What would you do if your neighbor demanded to drive your car, and then acted offended when you said no? Before we go any further, comment where in the world you're watching from. And if you believe no still means no, then subscribe to Voices Unchained, where we tell the stories some people wish stayed buried. Vivian wasn't bluffing. Within days, Elijah started getting HOA violation letters so ridiculous they could be comedy sketches. Too loud, too bright, too blue. She even claimed it was a commercial vehicle because it could potentially be used for racing. Elijah stayed calm, responding with exact HOA codes. Every time she tried to trap him, he outsmarted her. Each loss made her angrier. Then came Saturday. Logan returned with 2 friends. Same arrogance, more stupidity. "Hey, Mr. Grant," Logan called. "We were wondering if you'd reconsider letting us take the car out. Just a quick spin." "The answer's still no," Elijah said flatly. The football-sized friend smirked. "Don't be a hard ass. What's it gonna hurt?" Elijah stood tall, by his tone carrying quiet authority. "You boys need to head home. This conversation is over." They left, but not peacefully. Logan glared, muttering threats as he walked off. An hour later, Vivian was back, dragging her husband Gregory behind her like a hostage. "You threatened my son," she barked. "Gregory's a lawyer. We could sue you for emotional distress." Gregory looked exhausted, like a man who'd stopped fighting years ago. "I asked them to leave my property." Elijah replied coolly. "That's within my rights." Vivian hissed, "We'll see what the HOA board has to say about this," and stormed off again. At the next HOA meeting, she went full villain, a 40-minute PowerPoint titled "The Dangerous Element in Maple Ridge." She called him a hooligan. Sandra, Elijah's neighbor, told him the next day she even used slides of street racing cars. He laughed. "Unbelievable." Sandra grinned. "I reminded her the only troublemaker here is her and her brat. That's when the harassment really started. Notes on his windshield, trash cans knocked over, a grass-length violation from the city. Then came the day it all boiled over. Quiet Saturday morning, coffee in hand. Elijah hears voices. He looks out. Logan and his two friends are taking selfies beside his Mustang. He steps out. Logan, you need to leave. It's just pictures, bro, the boy says. Get off my property. Elijah warns, I won't ask again. Logan sneers. You know what? Screw you. That car should be mine anyway. You're too old to appreciate it. Elijah's tone drops an octave. The chief voice. Leave now, or I'll call the police. Logan smirks. My mom already did. She said you stole this car. Registration doesn't even have your name. And that's when Elijah realizes Vivian must have seen his father's name still on the title. Then, sirens. 3 patrol cars race down the street, lights flashing red and blue. Vivian bursts out of her house yelling, Officers, he's right there! The thief is right there! The lead car stops. Officer Rivera steps out and freezes. Chief Grant? Morning, Rivera, Elijah says. Beautiful day, isn't it? Vivian stops cold. Chief? She stammers. Lang steps forward. Ma'am, this is Chief Elijah Grant, Chief of Police for the entire city. The color drains from her face. Logan's mouth hangs open. Gregory looks like he's praying for an asteroid. Vivian gasps, but the registration doesn't match. Elijah replies, It belonged to my father. I inherited it. Would you like to see the death certificate? Rivera opens his notepad. Yes, sir. Take a full report, Elijah says. This woman filed a false complaint and has harassed me for weeks because I wouldn't let her son drive my car. Vivian panics. Wait, it was a mistake. Elijah's voice sharpens. You called 911 and said you verified it. That's not a mistake. That's a lie. Neighbors gather, phones out, cameras rolling. Sergeant Hayes' body cam blinks red. Young man, were you involved? Logan crosses his arms. Yeah, so what? He's been a jerk since he moved in. Logan, stop, Gregory hisses, but Logan keeps going. My mom runs this neighborhood. She'll sue you all. Elijah nods. Keep recording. Within an hour, Vivian is cited for filing a false report and misuse of emergency services. Logan gets a trespassing warning, and for once, nobody's defending her. The neighborhood watches in silence as she walks away, humiliated. But karma isn't done yet. Within days, the body cam footage leaks online. HOA president calls cops on black man. Turns out he's the police chief. That headline goes viral. The HOA board calls an emergency meeting and unanimously votes Vivian out. Years of her petty tyranny, gone overnight. Then comes court. Judge Mariel doesn't mince words. Wasting police resources for personal vendettas is no small crime. She's fined $8,000, sentenced to 50 hours of community service, and forced to apologize. By week's end, a for sale sign stands in her yard. Neighbors whisper, about time. Couldn't have happened to a better person. Elijah doesn't gloat. He just sips his coffee and watches the moving truck pull away. For the first time since moving in, the silence around his home feels peaceful, not heavy. Sandra waves from next door. Looks like Maple Ridge finally got its balance back. Elijah smiles. Took long enough. He opens his garage, the Mustang gleaming in the morning sun. The engine roars to life. Not just a sound, but a statement. This time, no one's knocking on the door. If you believe that truth always stands tall and tyrants always fall, hit that like button, share this story, and subscribe to Voices Unchained, where we turn everyday injustice into poetic justice.